Hello and welcome to the Elevate Your Running podcast with your hosts, Sarah Mandershad and myself, Austin Myers. We are so happy to be back with you for another week of discussions on running and life. Sarah, how are you this week?
Hey, Austin, I'm doing great. How are you? Happy Tuesday.
Thank you. I'm doing really well. It's another nice, crispy day outside as we record here in the middle of summer. But I think that everyone, when they get out the door and get into their runs, they're still enjoying it. And we're definitely benefiting from the heat training that we're all getting right now.
Absolutely.
So let's hop into our elevated moments. And before I get into mine, I will let you know that we'd love for you to interact with us and share your elevated moments with us. So if you'd like to share yours and we can shout it out on a future episode of the podcast, you can send us your elevated moment for the week to elevateyourrunningpodcast@gmail.com. Let us know that you'd like us to share it, and we'd love to shout you out on an upcoming episode. But for me, my elevated moment, I mentioned that we are in the midst of summer right now, and I'm fortunate enough that each summer I get to coach a swim team, and I know I've mentioned it on previous episodes of the podcast. It's a summer swim league. And this is the final week of the season. So just enjoying those moments, getting to see the kids really enjoy swimming and enjoy being outside and moving their bodies. And I think that's something that we should not lose sight of as adults. We get to get out the door and we get to embrace that inner kid that we still have in us. So that's my encouragement to everyone there, coupled with my elevated moment for the week.
I love that, Austin. We get to have fun in training, whether that's running with others, incorporating strides into our workouts, doing something that creates fun. I love that. And I can't believe your coaching, your swim coaching is almost over. Feels like it's just
quick
started.
6 weeks. I know it's a very quick 6 weeks each summer, but it's a sprint. It's not a marathon. We often say that things are a marathon, not a sprint. This thing is definitely a sprint for me, but it's a fun one. So Sarah, what is your elevated moment of the week?
Mine is getting back into marathon training or just training. I ran grandma's about 3 weeks ago, and the goal was to get into really good shape for that race, take a few weeks off, and then have another 3 months to build for the Chicago Marathon. So I'm really, really excited to get back into training. I have a new team that I'm going to be coaching or that I'll be training with this summer in Boulder. So I'm really excited about that. And having the opportunity to inspire other people, and for those women, primarily women, and some guys, to push me harder on the track too. That's going to be a lot of fun. And it's definitely going to be outside of my comfort zone, which I love. I love being able to push myself in a different way. I feel like training has gotten a little like I've plateaued a little bit, or it's just gotten kind of stagnant. So this is going to be a really good challenge and a lot of fun. So I'm excited for that, because teamwork makes the dream work, and running with other people make us better as athletes, as humans, and all the things. As well as when you partner with Inside Tracker, whether you run, ride, hike, or swim, you understand what it means to push harder, reach farther, and go the extra mile. This relentless drive runs in your blood. That's why Inside Tracker provides you with the personalized plan to build endurance, boost energy, and optimize your health for the long haul. Created by leading science in aging, genetics, and biometrics, Inside Tracker analyzes your blood, DNA, and fitness tracking data to identify where you're optimized and where you're not. You'll get a daily action plan with personalized guidance on the right exercise, nutrition, and supplementation for your body. And when you connect Inside Tracker with your Fitbit or Garmin, you'll also unlock real-time recovery pro tips after you complete your workout. It's like having your own personal trainer and nutritionist in your pocket. For a limited time, you can get 20% off the entire Inside Tracker store. Just go to insidetracker.com/elevate your running. That's insidetracker.com/elevate your running. And I'm really excited because I am partnering with Inside Tracker this summer as I lead into Boston to help determine where I stand right now and where I stand about halfway through training to make sure that I'm optimized the best way for the next 3 months of training so I can seriously have that breakthrough marathon that I'm craving for.
I love it. Yeah, I love when we get to talk about really optimizing our training. And for anyone who's interested in learning more about Inside Tracker, you can find that link that Sarah was mentioning in the show notes. So definitely give it a look, learn more, because they are a great company that really serves the purpose of athletes who are looking to optimize their performance as we are heading into fall racing season. And speaking of optimizing, or maybe the opposite, our topic of the day is going to discuss ways that you could be messing up your workouts. Last week, we talked all about easy running. We discussed the benefits of easy running, but the deal is if we want to get faster as runners, we really have to embrace those workout days. We have to maximize them. And that's what we want to discuss today, because there's a lot of ways that runners are actually making small mistakes that could be compounding and affecting the benefits of their workout days. Sarah, what do you see in that regard?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, I could argue and say like hard days are maybe more important than easy days, but they kind of all go hand in hand, right? It's like that 80-20 rule where for most athletes, 80% of your mileage is going to be in that easy zone, all the things that we talked about last week. And then about 20 or roughly 20% of your mileage are going to be hard days, workout days, tempo, track workouts. Your heart rate is elevated, you're breathing a little bit harder, or you have to push a little bit harder, or flow through the workout a little bit harder. So it's very, very, very important to not only take your easy days easy, but take your hard days hard. And we're going to talk all about how to be able, one, how to set yourself up for success, or the common mistakes that we see as coaches and as athletes, where, if you take and shift just a little bit, you can make a really big improvement in that speed day or for that speed day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crucial. And I think that's part of the reason that I love running personally, is that there has to be a balance. You have to embrace the purpose of each day of training, whether it be an easy day, a hard day, or maybe a full recovery day. If we don't maximize the purpose of that day, we're unable to progress. So that's what we're going to discuss today. And we're going to break down these common mistakes or misconceptions into three parts. So the first one will be your body was not ready for the workout. The second one will be your mind was not ready for the workout. And then the third, you did not achieve the purpose of the workout. And we'll dive more into what that means here in a little bit. But let's start at the top. Your body was not ready for the workout. Sarah, what do you see both as an athlete and as a coach for reasons that athletes are not showing up with their body ready for the parameters of the day?
Yeah, I think it's really easy to go into a workout and say, I'm just going to step out the door and see what happens. Not think through it, not set yourself up for success the night before, the morning of, getting your Garmin or your smartwatch ready to go, get your mind ready to go. I was talking with an athlete on our long run on Saturday, and part of the group long runs this summer, sometimes depending on the route that we're on, is stopping along the way to wait for others. And that has its own benefits. Yet, this athlete and I were talking about how sometimes, when we're getting ready the night before a long run, which could be considered a hard day depending on the type of long run you have, we're getting in our mind that we're going out the door, we're not stopping, we're going to continue to run as something. As a coach, I definitely love to talk about that. Like, let's not stop to walk to stop to walk. Like, let's keep running, because how you show up in training is how you show up on race day. And yet here we were stopping on Saturday morning waiting for people, which had its own benefits for sure. But when you're, getting into workouts, it really starts the night before, right? So if your body wasn't ready, let's get into the easy and the hard days, the 80, the 20. Your body wasn't ready. Maybe the hard day is feeling really hard, or you can't hit your paces. Then you definitely get to take your easy days easier. You're probably running in the gray zone. You're probably doing some things that we talked about last week on the easy days that are kind of getting in your own way to be able to execute on the hard days. And it all starts on, the night before a workout and getting mentally and physically prepared. And that goes hand in hand with nutrition and hydration. So eating a really awesome meal the night before a hard workout, making sure that you're eating enough carbohydrates, that you're getting really quality food in your body, and then also being able to wake up the next morning and set yourself up for success with getting enough sleep and making coffee if you drink coffee, making sure that you're getting in a really quality breakfast and you're drinking enough water throughout the day and even arguably throughout the week, to make sure that you're not dehydrated going into that track workout.
Yeah. And I know, we talked a lot about this in my last marathon build. To me, it's really just about making it routine, creating those
Yeah,
structures that are going to allow you to have success, or at least feel like you're prepared when you step off for that run every single week. And just recreating that routine each week, maybe making a few changes if you're realizing that you can optimize in other ways. Maybe it means adjusting your nutrition. Maybe it means working out at a different time or spreading out the time, that you wake up and then get out the door to run. I know I kind of function on a little bit different of a schedule when I have a workout day. I'll make sure that I
yeah.
get the nutrition in before my run. Some easy days, I don't worry as much about that aspect of it. So it's just about understanding that every little thing can matter on those workout days because you're pushing your body hard, and we need to allow our bodies to give us back, what we put in. So put in the right things as far as nutrition, hydration, and then give it the sleep and recovery it needs. And also, Sarah, like you mentioned, running those easy runs easy is supposed to set you up to run those hard runs hard.
Absolutely. Like tomorrow is going to be my first day running a hard workout with a new team. We get to show up early. We're warming up as a team. We're doing a lot of the little extra things too, right? So we're doing a 2 mile warm up. We're actually doing mobility work before the warm up. We're doing some stretching before the warm up. The 2 mile warm up, we're doing more dynamic stretching, dynamic drills. We're doing a very short tempo warm up. We're doing 4 by 100 meter strides. We're then getting into the workout. And then we're waiting for everyone to finish the workout and doing the cool down together. So, another thing to think about, and a lot of times when you're by yourself, you might be able to get away with not doing some of these things. When you're working out with a team, you definitely get to do everything that's listed in the workout. Be prepared and set yourself up for success too with the time that it's going to take to get everything done with that workout. That's a huge piece of success, and making sure that you're not shortchanging yourself in the strides and in the dynamic stretches and in the drills, even leg swings, which are a huge, huge, huge piece to, just warming up properly before running. And I'm guilty of not doing that. So I think tomorrow, or I know tomorrow, is going to be really great for me as an athlete and as a coach. And for anyone listening who does have maybe a track Tuesday that they haven't completed yet, or a workout Wednesday, whatever's listed in your notes from either your coach or the online plan that you're following, if you haven't done all the things listed in that, give it a try and see what happens. Just give yourself some extra time so you don't feel rushed during the workout. You don't feel rushed during the cool down, that you have enough time to really budget and set yourself up for success with that entire workout.
And I think a step that's easily overlooked, and there's a mistake in this, is that we can easily run our warm up and even our cool down way too fast. We know it's a
Yeah.
workout day. I'm guilty of this, so I'm speaking from
Yes, you are.
experience. We know it's
Yeah.
a workout day, so when we get the legs turning for the warm up, they just turn a little bit faster from what I've found. And
Yeah.
you realize that you're running, like you mentioned earlier, Sarah, in that gray zone, when really these warm ups, we want to run at our easy pace. We want to allow our body to get into the workout. That's also an opportunity for you to allow your mind to get into the workout. I find that when I can focus really intentionally on each individual step that's listed in the workouts, like you were mentioning, the
Mhm.
drills, the dynamic warm up, all of those things, when you can really lock into those movements, those little things, that's going to allow you to be even more focused and physically prepared when the actual workout begins. But you have to start slow, because when you start slow, you allow your body to warm up and get ready. And ultimately, it pays off when you get into those harder intervals or sets of your workout.
Absolutely. And I'm guilty of running the cool down way too fast. That's usually like I'm really good in the warm up phase, and then I'll do the workout, and then I'm, running 8-minute pace as the cool down, which is like way too fast for a cool down for me. And so just really, really aligning yourself, hitting the reset button if you need to, just being really intentional with each day, right? Last week we talked about easy days and how you get to be intentional with, finding a conversational pace, finding a way to be able to sing or hold a conversation without breathing heavy. Maybe it's backing up to 2.5, 3 minutes per mile based off of a race pace. And then for hard days, we get to do the exact same thing, just in a different way of really just following the order of the workout and what's listed there. For all of my athletes, they get their workouts broken up into 3 segments. So they get a warm up, and everything listed for the warm up is there. And then we go into the workout, and everything I want for the workout is going to be listed there. And then the cool down, and usually the cool down is like 10, 15, 20 minutes at easy to moderate pace, depending on what's going on with that athlete. If they are feeling good, I'm usually a little bit more lenient on having that mod effort in the cool down, because I get it and I understand. Sometimes it just feels good.
I know. I was about to say the same thing. It is funny. You know it was a good workout when you're running that cool down too fast. So it can be a good sign, but it is also important, on the
Yeah.
tail end of a workout, especially a good hard workout, to allow your body to come down from it as well. And the thing that I love about all of this is that all of the body and the physical preparedness stuff that we just talked about converts over perfectly to the mindset as well. It all works together, and our ability to prepare physically is also a part of our ability to prepare mentally, especially when we create routines and we really begin to
Mhm.
buy into the training and what it's doing for the progress towards our goals. So Sarah, what do you see from the perspective of mindset and just the way that we can optimize our mindset heading into a workout day?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to stay in the mile that you're in, right? Stay in, what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow. At the very beginning of the week, definitely look at your schedule as an athlete to see what is on deck for the entire week, and then really focus in on today and tomorrow. So today is Tuesday. Some people have workouts on Wednesdays. Today is a great opportunity if you haven't run your easy effort today, get to stay in the easy pace zone. And then after that runs over, you get to shift right away into the mental side and preparing yourself for the workout tomorrow. And that could be visualizing how the workout's going to go. Visualize yourself on the track, on the road. I love to visualize myself running strong, especially at the end. Sometimes I'll play music, and sometimes it's actually the playlist that I intend to listen to while I'm doing the workout, which, side note, don't really know if that's going to work tomorrow. So I guess I'll keep you guys updated if I can listen to music while I train with the group tomorrow. But set yourself up for success with, listening to the music that you're going to be listening tomorrow or the next or for your workout, and visualizing it, and visualizing yourself running strong and capable. And that's a huge way to kind of focus in on that workout for tomorrow. It's also starting to think ahead about what you're having for dinner tonight and what time you're planning to get to bed, and really holding yourself accountable to that, and not negotiating with yourself. I have a group run tonight, followed by yoga, followed by like some social time. And in my mind, I already have a time that I need to be in my car tonight. And I was telling someone a few days ago, I said, as much as I want to be there for this group run tonight that I'm hosting, and I do want to be there, like I also get to hold myself accountable to what time I need to be in my car to get myself home, to be able to get myself ready to go to bed because I have an early workout tomorrow morning. And, I get to be warming up with the team by 6:50. And for me, that's early. And getting things kind of going since I'll be working tonight until about 9, working in quotes, coaching. So, which doesn't feel like work, but it is still energy. So, setting yourself up for success with what is going on, holding yourself accountable to the timelines that you give yourself, and starting to unwind when you need to unwind. We've talked all about that. You get to start to dim the lights, you get to turn off the technology. I like to play yoga or meditation music. Maybe it's reading in bed, whatever you can do to just get things to start to feel like it's time to go to bed and relaxation mode is now officially turned on. And then also setting yourself up for success with like planning out what you're wearing the next morning, having your coffee ready to go, knowing what you're eating, and making sure that your refrigerator is full of the foods that you need and want to be able to run a really successful workout. I think that's a really huge piece to it. I already have all of my stuff laid out for tomorrow morning, making sure I have like my clothes ready, like laundry is done. I have my workout track shoes. I have my warm up cool down shoes, making sure I bring enough water, all of that, all those little things are a really, really great way to prepare your mind, to be ready for the workout.
All those little things that you were just talking about are successes that we can then build upon. Like
Mhm.
it's momentum starters for us. When we can prepare everything that we need for the next day, when we can fuel our body appropriately, get to bed at the correct time, that's just proving to ourselves step by step that you can go into that workout and you can achieve at a high level. But if we aren't doing those things, if we aren't going through our checklist, but the night before, the morning of, whatever it may be, and showing ourselves that we are prepared for this workout, then the confidence may not be there that you can achieve to your highest level. And that's really the thing that I love about a purposeful structure of training, something that, marathon training provides, is that every single week what day your workout is and what day your long run is. So for
Yeah.
many people, you're working out on either Tuesday or Wednesday. Days surrounding that are typically your easy runs. And then your long run's going to be on a Saturday or a Sunday. And that really allows you to just say, okay, Tuesday night heading into my Wednesday morning workout, I have to be on top of it. I need to be very systematized. I need to make sure that I've got everything in order. The checks and balances are there. And then Wednesday morning, you wake up with a different energy because you're ready to put out and put out a great effort for your workout. It builds so much confidence, not only from day to day, but week to week. And then you're really stringing together progress towards your goals.
Mhm.
And the same thing's true for long runs, especially when we place a large emphasis on, the intra workout nutrition for some of those long runs, and just allowing yourself to really buy into that structure. And with that, there is a balance though, right? If you're running your long run on a Saturday, you get that long run done. Embrace the fact that on a Sunday, you probably have a recovery day. You can kind of then relax a little bit, right? If you need to sleep in a little bit, focus on other areas of your life. There's opportunities for balance, but understanding that in a typical marathon training setup, there's 2 days every single week where you need to be hyper focused, and embracing the fact that on those days or the day before, as you're preparing, you really get to prove to yourself that you can show up and you can perform.
Absolutely. It's a huge, huge, huge piece to it. Like I've noticed before from personal experience, if I'm not focused on the workout and I'm literally strapping the garment on and just going out the door and like saying like, oh, we'll see how this goes. Usually the workout is harder than it should be. It's not fun. And you just feel, or in my experience, I've just felt like, meh, like, okay, on to the next. And that doesn't feel good either. So get excited about your hard days because they really are a piece to the puzzle to be able to show up very confident and strong and fit on race day. And speed is always usually fun, right? If the pace isn't there, you can always rely on effort. And if you can rely on effort, then you have always made a deposit in the training bank, and that's a huge win. So don't get down on yourself. Like if the hard days are feeling too hard, rely back to that rate of perceived effort. As Elevate athletes, they all know what that is for their workouts, so they know that they can shift into that if paces aren't there. But paces are always recommended to just try at the beginning to see how you're showing up. And sometimes with the hard days or with the workouts, give yourself some grace too around the interval sets. I've had workouts before where I get into it and I think, okay, this does not feel good. I feel clunky. I feel heavy. The pace feels really tough. And after the second or third rep, everything clicks and the rest of the workout is amazing. Sometimes your body just needs a little bit of extra warm-up time. If you find that you need that, talk to your coach if you're working with a coach to let them know. I definitely, like Austin, you were very clear when we started working together for Buffalo that you wanted a 3-mile warm up, 3-mile cool down, because that's how you best structured your workout. So that's what we did for you. Other athletes have 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm getting 2 miles tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. I've always had 15 minutes. And I've always said, like, gosh, I always just need a little bit of extra time to warm up, never asking for more warm up time. But now I should have a few extra minutes warm up time with some extra little things like a 3-minute tempo with some extra strides. And we'll see how that translates on the track tomorrow. But give yourself some grace around that. Know what you need and ask for it.
Yeah, your body knows stimulus, right? More than anything, your body understands the stimulus that you're giving to it. So if you're struggling on a specific day to reach your goal pace for that workout, understand that if you're still putting out the effort and you're not just mailing it in, your body understands the stimulus that you're giving it. And in some situations, you could probably argue that you're growing even more by pushing through those harder days, no matter what pace you end up running. Just realize that some days you just have to put your head down. You have to work through it. There's still growth to be had from that. But the third way that you may be messing up your workout, and I alluded to this one in the beginning, it is that you didn't achieve the purpose of your workout. So Sarah, what do you consider when you think about the purpose of a workout, any workout that we may give? What kind of purpose or, different intentions do we have for an athlete's workout?
Yeah, there's so many. Track workouts are not meant to go sprint pace for the duration of each interval. Like, no, there is a purpose to each training block, to each week within that training block to create a full training cycle. So you could be running 10K pace, you could be running 5K pace, you could be running mile repeats at a very hard effort. You could be running 100s at, sprint efforts. You could be running threshold at your threshold pace and not going over that pace, because the benefits of doing that greatly are significantly less than staying within threshold. Like threshold, we're working through the lactic acid within your legs and making sure that you're producing the right results for that type of workout. So really stick with the plan and whatever's listed in your workout for that day, really hold yourself accountable to doing that. And I'm guilty of doing this because a lot of times if I feel better, I like to push the pace. And I know it's like, oh, that wasn't actually the intention of the workout and it felt really good, but really align with the purpose of the workout. And if you don't know what the purpose of that pace is, ask your coach. They should be giving that to you beforehand. A lot of times I love chatting with my athletes or putting notes in the first day of a new training block and saying, this is what we're focusing on. This is why we're doing it this way. For the athletes that have been coaching a long time, sometimes right now that doesn't necessarily happen because they should know what those purposes are. And if they don't, that's okay too. But as we get to learn and grow and know more about each other from the athlete coach perspective, usually that gets dialed in a little bit quicker and a little bit easier. But sometimes it's marathon pace or half marathon pace. We're just doing goal work to simulate, what race day is kind of going to feel like. And I say kind of because we're still in heavy training. Every day is going to be different. And your marathon pace today in training is going to feel a whole heck of a lot different on race day, especially in that first half. It should actually feel a lot easier in the first half of a marathon than what it feels like in training. But know that, each workout has its own purpose. And you also get to give yourself grace if you do kind of go a little bit too hard, like I sometimes tend to do, or if you need to walk during the recovery efforts too, versus running or jogging, that's okay. If you need to do standing rest in between the intervals, that's okay too. Sometimes standing intervals or standing rest is actually prescribed because the intensity is so high that we need to have that standing rest to be able to turn the legs over very quickly within 90 seconds or 2 minutes. And sometimes it's going to say recovery jogging in between at a very light, easy effort just to keep the legs moving, but then being able to shift right back into running harder for a stronger leg turnover.
Understand that these workouts and the steps within the workouts do not happen in a vacuum. Like, our stress compounds over the course of a training week or a training block. So if you're going into, like, the perfect example that I can give is going into that workout that we did, Sarah, with 10 miles at goal marathon pace, basically the final workout of our most recent marathon prep for the Buffalo Marathon. Like, I was going into that workout with a lot of built up stress from the block of training that we were in. So the
Yeah.
paces that I was hitting for those 10 miles, those goal paces, felt exponentially harder than they felt on race day. And that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to feel hard because the training stress is there. But guess what? When we drop that training stress, and that's what happens in a taper, and then you start hitting those paces on your race day, you realize, wow, this feels great. And a lot of the reason is obviously the recovery aspect, but also the fact that you were able to push through when it didn't feel great. And that's a really big learning lesson for people who become experienced athletes, is
Mm-hmm.
that, my body's giving me feedback signals. There's certainly times where we need to really listen to it and make sure that
For
we're
sure.
we're aware of our body. And there's other times where it's like, hey, this is a really good type of stress that I can use to my advantage in training.
Yeah. And I love when there is goal pace work. Usually I'll do it at the end of a long run to set the athlete up to know what it's going to feel like, or to simulate as closely what it can feel like to race day. Maybe if you're racing the marathon, what it's going to feel like in the last 5K or 10K. Let's start doing some goal pace work on tired legs for the last, 5, 8, Austin, in your case, 10 miles. And I think you were running about 70 miles a week at that point, pretty close to it. And the stress was pretty darn heavy, and you crushed it. And then lo and behold, you crushed Buffalo.
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of going back to the mindset preparedness that we mentioned earlier, it's like, just embrace the challenge, go into it
Mm-hmm.
very aware of the fact that it's not going to be easy, but understanding that if you can prepare yourself for that workout on that day, and if you can treat it as if it's race day and then execute, the amount of confidence that you just carry into, in this case, if you're training for a race, that you carry into taper, and you sit on that confidence for the 2 or so weeks of your taper. And then you head out there on race day and you're ready to go. It's an awesome testament to the way that we can use our body to fuel our mind as athletes.
Absolutely. And I think, and know that one thing that we kind of touched on, sleep, is a huge piece to training and running well, not just on easy days, but hard days for sure. Like, sleep is the number one recovery tool. So hoping and setting yourself, not hoping, but setting yourself up for success with getting enough sleep the night before a hard day, but then really leaning into it the night after or the night of. So if your workout's on Wednesday, sleeping well on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, but then again, Wednesday night into Thursday for sure, and that'll help. And then kind of eliminating some things that won't set you up for success and that might hinder your performance. Like for me, that is definitely stopping caffeine earlier in the day so I can get really good sleep the night before a workout, and then also not drinking alcohol, which I always feel kind of off the next morning. Maybe I have a little bit of headache, or my sleep wasn't as great, or I didn't get into as deep of a sleep. And then you're also, in my experience, a little dehydrated too. So none of those things are going to make you feel good on the track. And I'm a big believer in let's doing everything we can do to feel as good as we can feel, control what we can control, and visualize and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we need to embrace the lows so that we can embrace the highs. And what I mean by that is that we can embrace the moments where we get to be really calm and relaxed and recover. Those moments where we're getting ourselves prepared for hopefully a really good night of sleep. And then because you've done that, you're able to go into your workout and you're able to embrace the energy that you get going into a big workout. You're able to embrace the fact that this is going to be hard and I get to push through this and I get to come out on top of this workout. But if we want to go, and a lot of athletes are like this, where it's like, we just want to continue to train as hard as we can. If I have 800s on my workout for the day, half mile repeats, I want to run every half mile repeat to near 100% effort. But the reality is we have to check ourselves. We have to check our ego at the door. We have to understand that it's a step-by-step thing. When you approach each workout with the important steps that precede each other, the warm up, the cool down, the intervals, and then also the recovery times, when you're able to do that and not get too caught up in the highs of the workout and embrace the lows, the recovery, whether it be a standing recovery or just a lighter jog recovery, then when it's time to get your legs turning again for the interval, you're more prepared for it. And that's the intention of the workout. If you're working with a coach, it was written for that reason. Don't sabotage the training plan just because you want to see how fast you can run the interval.
Right, because that's great for the ego, but not great for training, and we can do that in the off season. Sometimes intervals are going to progress forward, right? Starting out at a slightly slower pace, progressing through. So each interval, you're getting a little bit faster. Sometimes they're designed so you're going out hard at the beginning until you're reaching failure. Sometimes it's going to be, for hill repeats. My co-coach for the Tucker for the summer training group, he's a big believer, and I support this. Like, let's give it our all on the second to last rep for hill repeats, right? And then you could probably still get one more out of that. And we're on the track. I'm a big believer in keeping one rep left in the tank. Like, don't put it all out there. Yes, you get to work hard. You get to be intentional with what the plan is and what the workout is prescribed as. And you also get to stay healthy and happy and injury-free.
Yeah. And one big recommendation that I would make for athletes is to reflect on these workout days, reflect on your long run days. Think about what happened or did not happen in the hours that preceded the workout. Think about what happened within the workout, and then think about how you felt or the results of the workout after it has happened. Because if you want to do this for longer than just one, race buildup, you want to make sure that you're progressing from training cycle to training cycle. And at the end of the day, we cannot do that unless we're truly reflecting on the things that are working or not working for us. Now, what does reflecting look like? For everyone, it's different. Some people are, pen and paper type of people. Some people are just, really focused on just giving themselves time to think about it and just allowing, themselves to ruminate on what happened. But at the end of the day, if you can reflect, then you can optimize for the next opportunity that you get.
Absolutely. And we talked about this on a previous episode. you know, if you want to see something tangible and it's not just going through your running journal or going through Final Surge or Training Peaks with your notes, like string together some paper clips. I'm doing this starting tomorrow, and each day is going to reflect something different. So the invitation was to string paper clips together when you work on mental strength within a run or a workout. So you can absolutely do that. I'm going to take it a little bit different for this training cycle. And if I hit the intentionality of the day, whether it's easy running, it's a track workout, it's a speed day, and there is some component of mental strength, because you can do that for any day, any workout, string a paper clip together. So I'm going to start to do this. I'm going to document it on social media in my stories. Y'all are going to see some progression of paper clips, not every day, but every few weeks. And it's going to be a visual reminder that we do hard things. We can do hard things. And we're doing a lot when we are in training. And I think a lot of times we forget how cool it is, how hard we're working, and how much time and effort goes into it. So this paperclip chain is going to be a very tangible reminder of that.
Yeah. One of my favorite things that I've heard, in this context is, if you're training for a big race and you really care about the result of it, you're very goal oriented. And because of that, you're process oriented. Like, you need to treat yourself differently than someone who isn't training for a big goal would. So allow yourself to approach your week in a different way than someone else may. Allow yourself to be more prepared, whether it be with nutrition or recovery or your mindset heading into a workout. All of these things, these differences that sometimes we don't like to embrace, they can be an amazing thing because they're going to set you up for success. They're going to create you as an individual athlete, the individual athlete that you are. And because of that, you can achieve these individual results that you're going to be really proud of.
Absolutely. Definitely, definitely agree. It's that 1% needle mover. How are you showing up for training, for fall racing? How are you showing up for life? Get to play big, have fun, do some hard things, and also give yourself grace.
Yeah. It's all of those things that we get to do, right? And,
Yeah.
we talked a lot in this episode about our most recent episode, which was on easy running. So if you'd like to give that a listen, that is episode number 25 of the podcast. This episode was a really great overview of ways that you may be messing up your workouts. And these can be little changes that we can make, little adaptations over time that'll allow us to be more effective within our workout days on a week-to-week basis. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, we would love for you to rate and subscribe to the show on whatever platform that you're listening to. And also give us a shout out on social media, and you can connect with us there as well. You can find me on Instagram at Austin Myers Fitness. And Sarah, where can they connect with you and the Elevate Your Running community?
Yeah, Instagram and Twitter at Sayrah, Sayrah runs happy, and at Elevate Your Running. Thanks everyone for listening today. Thank you to everyone for the incredible feedback from last week's episode. Hands down, I think we had twice as many listeners as in all episodes. So that was really exciting for us to see. Continue to share it, continue to listen. We love you all. Please rate, subscribe, do all the things so more people can listen to our messages and we can land in their hearts and hopefully elevate their running. Have a great week.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, everyone.